Good morning, everybody. Sorry I'm back. Been working on my bathroom mat. It's coming along nicely. I should have it finished hopefully by today. I'm hoping I don't have to get into my other ball of yarn to finish it out, but it is what it is. The other one will be smaller, so it shouldn't take as much. Um, I was sitting here thinking so this is 4 days that I've been home. Okay, I ain't got the money to go anywhere else, so that's one of the reasons why I chose to pick up such a hobby is making crocheted rugs for bathrooms or kitchens, maybe in front of the door, things like that. Welcome mat, if you will. Um, it gives me something to do. It's quick, it's easy, they're beautiful, and they're custom. But I was sitting here thinking, you know, living alone and being alone and not having any friends leads for a very lonely life. I mean, I have my kids, I have my granddaughter, but I've talked to them twice, maybe 3 times in the last 10 days. Well, my oldest daughter. My youngest daughter was in the car the last time I talked to him on Saturday, I think it was. Maybe it was Friday. And I don't know what's going on with my youngest daughter. She does not talk to me at all. I don't know what's going on there. Um, but and I talked to a male friend of mine Friday, and I'm not going to even get into that. And that was the last time I heard from him. He always disappears on the weekends. Um, but it makes for an extremely lonely life. Um, and so I throw myself into crafts like this because I have nothing else. I mean, you can only watch so many gay rom-coms. I watched 3 yesterday. Well, no, I watched 2. And while I was watching them, I was doing my mat. Watched a couple, I had Sunday morning service. And I watched another message, which I really needed to hear, with Pastor Henderson at the Lighthouse Church. Studied my Bible yesterday morning. I'm happy, I guess. I'm definitely not suffering from what I used to suffer from. I've come a long way. But when you have no one to talk to, it can get on you a little bit, and it tries to, and I feel at times that depression is kicking in. Trying to kick in anyway. And I fight it off. I pick up my hobby and I start working it. But I guess it sucks because I would like to have friends. I would like to have that life of being surrounded by people and having movie nights and dinner nights and things like that, and going out and doing whatever, having great conversations. But I honestly believe that there are some of us in this world, we're just not meant to have that. Literally, we are not meant to have that kind of lifestyle. There's something about us people particularly don't care for. And, you know, and I think this is why I talk about the gay lifestyle so much in a negative light, is because whenever you watch movies, you see them surrounded by loving family and friends and gay and straight, and they always seem to find that perfect love. It's Hollywood. And it's Hollywood. But see, they write it in such a manner that appeals to the gay man that you get lost in the storyline. And then you wish that you could have something similar. That you could be surrounded by the movie. When in reality, for those of us that live in the flyover states, in the rural areas, we're never going to have that kind of life. It's a false narrative. And it just drives to that much more of the reality that the gay lifestyle is not what Hollywood or the powers to be try to narrate it to be. They show the Pride parades, on YouTube and in New York and down in Miami and San Francisco and Seattle, and places like that. But again, that's a narrative. Why is it a narrative? Because it's portraying unity. It's portraying good times. It's portraying a lifestyle that doesn't actually exist. The only thing for sure about the lifestyle is the sex. But even then, that's so blurred anymore. There is no what it was, because times have changed. Have you ever gone into a gay bar and nobody's looking around talking? Everybody's faces in their phones. Because they don't know how to go up and talk to people anymore. They rather look at them from a distance via their cell phone. Why are you on your cell phone when you're in a gay bar? The whole point about socializing is to socialize. You don't socialize on a hookup app. What's wrong with going up and talking to a guy, say, "Hi, my name's Robert, can I buy you a drink?" And start a conversation. Nobody wants to talk anymore. It's all about false narratives. I think this is where the gay community has really lost its identity, to be quite honest. With the invention of the internet, hookup apps, gay bars have turned into straight bars because gays don't go out anymore, really. And when they do, their faces are in their phones. So, it goes back to my original point of it's a false narrative. It's a false idea. They show the good times, but with the documentaries that I've watched, you start to see that fade disappear when cell phones came about. More specifically, apps. Because until apps came out, it was too expensive to get on the internet. And it was analog at that. It wasn't the technology that we have now. But as more and more gays start to move into the suburbs and away from gay communities, the identity is being lost. The culture is being lost. There is no more walking down to the neighborhood gay bar and having a few drinks. It's a $40 Uber ride. Because people live so far out now. And there's something to be said too, is typically whenever gays move into a neighborhood and they clean them up, the straight people start moving in and gay people leave. This is a true fact. Because gays gentrify bad neighborhoods. Where gays used to hide out in the worst parts of town. The sketchy parts of town. The parts of town that nobody else would go into because we were hiding. Warehouse districts and whatever. But then as we started pouring money into these neighborhoods, straight started moving in. I guess a prime example would be Hillcrest in San Diego. Or the Grove in St. Louis. So, have we, and in our attempt to normalize our lives, is that where we lost our identity? Is that where we lost our power? Is that where we lost a sense to who we are? Because we tried so hard to fight for acceptance, and now that we got acceptance, the right is using that against us because we've lost our power. We've lost our strength because this new generation isn't going to fight for us. This new generation is too busy with their faces in their phones. They're too busy trying to be influencers on TikTok or Instagram or whatever's the latest platform. Because they've accepted a false narrative of acceptance. You might be accepted in your high school, in your home, by your friends. But look what's going on outside your window. The politics that's taking place. Are we going backwards instead of forwards? One would have to actually wonder. One would literally have to wonder. Because the very same people that we fought for their rights are not fighting for our rights. And in fact, it's the quite opposites. Think about that. Think about what I just said. The next time you feel the need to go protest for somebody, ask yourself if they would be out on the streets protesting for you because you're gay, or a lesbian, or transgender, or drag queen, or bisexual, or a plus. Seriously, ask yourself that question. The next time you want to get out and go protest for somebody. Because I can guarantee you they're not going to. They don't want to be seen in public protesting for someone else's rights that fought for their rights. That's a double standard. But if you don't do it, then you look like you're insensitive. But then you have to ask, would you protest for me? Ask yourself that question. Take care of your own first before you go take care of somebody else. Because it's our freedom that's on the line. We don't have the courts in our pockets anymore. We don't have the willpower to fight anymore. When was the last time you heard of any court cases that's being won in the name of the LGBTQ plus community? You haven't. 2015 was probably the last time with gay marriage. Don't have the political clout, willpower, and people are afraid to touch the subject. There's a shift. The Democrats and the Republicans just want to hold on to their office individually. But see, the 90s and the early 2000s, when there was a major shift and people started to understand, that was the momentum that we needed for 2015. And even with Don't Ask, Don't Tell, there was a shift. There was a power behind that, because people were willing to go out and protest and to celebrate as we are as a community. But anymore, ladies and gentlemen, when you go to pride parades, it's straight people taking advantage of something that's not their fight. See, this is the problem whenever you say all's included. All includes means they're going to take over. And you've now lost your identity. Because we fought for assimilation for so long that assimilation is now our enemy. The dynamics are changing. Look at Florida, here in Texas, and other red states. The dynamics are changing. And it's not in a good way. I mean, ask Bud Light. How about Target that lost, $9 million? I think is what I saw. And as it starts to come out, more and more of these companies that support us, they're taking a hit. Look at Amazon Prime. There is no Pride line for movies this year. None. Not on my TV anyway. Not a single thing. Why? Because they're afraid. They're literally afraid that their stocks will fall and that they will take a hit in trading. Where we used to have the power to fight back with that, we don't anymore. The average gay doesn't drink Bud Light. They drink vodka or other foo-foo drinks. Most of us don't shop at Target. I don't shop at Target. It's not my thing. I have no need for it. And to be quite honest, their rainbow apparel stuff for Pride is ugly. It's not, I approve of the message, it's just something that I would not wear or desire. Because I'm a bear. I more associate myself with bear pride than I do rainbow pride. But yet I have my rainbow pride up because that's where it all started. But take the time, ladies and gentlemen, and think about what I'm talking about. Because if you don't take action, if you don't act up, you're going to have nothing to act up for. And you're going to be forced back into the closet in a social situation. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need to feel uncomfortable so that maybe something will be done. But I think after 2015, I'm just going to be honest. I'm getting ready to switch this on y'all right now. Most gay men, and I do mean most, do not care about trans or drag queen rights. Plain and simple, cut and dry. We depend on drag queens because they're the money raisers. But see, anymore, drag shows are filled with straight people. Or it's such a tight-knit circle that everybody knows everybody. Even whenever you go to bars and they're doing before their normal operating hours, they always do their fundraisers beforehand. There's not a whole lot of people there. There's never been a whole lot of support in that arena because it's just something. I think bears, because we've never been socially accepted in the gay community anyway, to be quite honest, because we're big hairy men. We're not the slender twinks, which is what the muscular jocks, which is what the gay community has always prided itself on. So the bear community has always stepped out of that arena. Well, now that we're growing and the twinks are shrinking, you don't have that political willpower or the money anymore. That's fact. But whenever it comes to trans, I know a lot of gay men that do not support trans rights at all. They don't get it. They don't get it. That, in fact, they're indifferent about it because it's not affecting our community directly. But even in pride parades, you see a very small bear presence or cub or an otter presence. Very small. Because it's not our thing. We don't go to pride parades. We go to the bars Saturday night and Sunday. So that might be part of the problem too, to be quite honest. I know me and my ex, whenever we would go to Pride in Dallas, we just go to the bar Saturday night. We never cared about the parade. So, and then you have other events that are strictly all male, TBRU, men's weekends, camping sites, so on and so forth. Because we're still trying to pull ourselves back, but it's not in the mainstream. Because we see what's taking place within the gay communities. And it's not something for us. So I guess in a sense, we've created our own communities that are men only. You see that division there. So maybe that's it. I don't know. But I've said a lot. And to be quite honest, a lot of people just don't care anymore about gay rights. Leave me alone and let me live my life as I see fit is all that they care about. Because whenever you start fighting for gay rights, who else are they going to throw on or under that umbrella? And then all of a sudden, it becomes no lines. Because you're fighting for everybody. And the person that originally wanted their rights, you've now forgot about because you've moved on to another subcategory, to someone else. But yet you want their support, you want their money, but yet you're not fighting for their rights. You're fighting for someone else's rights. And they're not going to do it. To be quite honest. They're not going to do it. So they just fall into the shadows. Disappear. And you've lost them. Because you've changed the narrative on them. You've created a false narrative. Fighting for someone else's rights when the original group's rights were never in full access in the first place? Think about that. God bless day.